Ladies and gentlemen, imagine a world where gambling runs rampant with no checks and balance in place. A world where vulnerable individuals are desperate for a stroke of luck and are lured into a never-ending cycle of financial ruin. This is the reality we face today, and it is high time we address this issue head-on. Today, I stand before you to persuade you that gambling should be regulated. Gambling, in its very form, has become an integral part of our society. It's part and parcel of us now. We can't run away from that. From the casinos to online platforms, it has basic truths into our culture and our lives. While some argue that gambling is a personal choice, we cannot turn a blind eye to the harmful consequences it can have on individuals in our community. First, I would like to talk about the reasons why we need to do this, to have this regulation in place to protect the most vulnerable among us. Gambling addiction is real and destructive problem. It preys on people who already are facing difficulties in their lives, whether it's financial instability, whether it's mental health issues, or even their social relations. People who don't relate with others. According to gambling and mental health, gambling can cause low self-esteem, it can also cause stress, it can also cause anxiety and depression. Unregulated gambling venues and online platforms make it far too easy for these individuals to fall into the clutches of addiction, destroying their families. For students, destroying their careers and even their lives in the process. People lose their lives because of gambling. It's very sad. Regulation in this place would be able to provide essential and safeguard to protect those who cannot protect themselves. It will also ensure that proper age verification measures are in place to prevent like the underage, for instance, from engaging in these gambling activities. It will also require like the operators, people with the casinos and all that, to implement responsible gambling tools such as like the self-exclusion programs and like spending limits to help addicted gamblers to regain control over their habit. The purpose of gambling regulation, and this is according to ENGBO, the purpose of gambling regulation can be to ensure revenues for public, to prevent crime and gambling problems. Secondly, these regulations is very necessary to combat these criminal activities around these gambling institutions. Without like proper oversight, the gambling industry becomes like a breeding ground for illegal activities such as money laundering, prostitution, fraud, drive-by shooting. By implementing robust regulations, we can establish a system of transparency and accountability that will drive out these criminal elements from the gambling industry. Apart from that, it will also enable the officers, the law enforcement agencies, to more effectively track and prevent illicit financial activities, protecting the integrity of our financial systems. Like there is no money laundering all of a sudden because they'll be able to track down. Moreover, regulation can ensure fairness and integrity within the gambling industry. And according to online casino ethics, fairness is one of the most essential principles for online casino and ethics. Unregulated gambling, it opens door for unscrupulous operators to rig games and exploit unsuspecting players. By implementing these regulations, we can enforce strict standards to fairness, ensuring that games are conducted in a transparent and unbiased manner. This will not only protect the consumer, but it will also foster trust and confidence in the industry as a whole. Lastly, these regulations provide an opportunity to generate revenue for the public welfare. Gambling, when properly managed, it can contribute significantly to funds that will be used to support or service these initiatives. By implementing taxation on gambling operators, we can redirect those funds towards education, healthcare, infrastructure, drought, and programs for gambling's addiction treatment. It becomes a win-win situation for everyone, where responsible gamblers can help build stronger and more prosperous community or society. In conclusion, the time has come to recognize the pressing need for regulating this gambling industry and these gambling institutions. We cannot afford to ignore the negative impact it has on individuals, families, and people are losing their lives. People are dying every day. People are losing money. People are being depressed. By implementing robust regulation, we can protect these vulnerable and combat criminal activities while ensuring fairness and also generate much needed revenue for public welfare. Let us work together to build a regulated gambling industry that prioritizes the well-being of its participants and contributes positively to the society as a whole.